Welcome everybody to this, your Capricorn April 2025 reading and forecast. Hi, I'm Nigel Saint James, clairvoyant. Well, I've got a great deck for you this morning. Look, I found it in my garage in the bottom of a box. I was out looking for some screwdrivers to fix up a thing on my fence. When I was doing a couple of readings earlier, about 2 hours ago, I think, because I do all these just in a straight line. I do the 12 one after the other. Then what I found in it, this thing, which is, I think, autographed by the developer of the deck. So it must be an independent deck. And it is from M.M. Meline, who says, "Enjoy Tabula Mundi. Coloris Arcus II," and signed by M.M. Meline. So Tabula Mundi, I suppose, is what it's called by M.M. Meline. It's a clue anyway, whether or not it's true. But given that it's on the same backing, and it was in the middle of the deck, and it had come from a flea market. Who knows? Who knows who could have used it before? But anyway, I know it works really well. So, now you know, of course, that I provide clairvoyant readings to people all over the world via FaceTime and Skype. So if you want to find out what's going to happen in your future, just check out the information that's in the description at the end of the video. Now, I charge for those. I have to, because I've got expenses like everybody else. But there's another thing which I do offer over FaceTime and Skype, wherever you may be in the world, and that's the gift of healing. Now, the clairvoyant reading goes for about an hour and a half, sometimes a bit longer. The healing goes for about 3/4 of an hour. So it can sometimes go longer than that. Hundreds of people through this channel have taken advantage of it. It's offered for free. No strings attached, no obligation. I do it without expecting anything in return. In fact, I can't get anything in return for it. If this is calling out to you, just get in contact with me, right? Now, there are no advertisements in this, so you get to enjoy the content without interruption. Show me the magic. 6 of Swords. 3 of Wands. Lust. Who doesn't enjoy a bit of lust, huh? The Tower. Gee, you got it all going here. Look. Fantastic. And here, there is the Knight of Cups. Right. Well, why don't you come and sit down here next to me? I'll also bring the camera around so everybody else can see. And you and I can have a look at the imagery that's on these paintings together while the cosmic energies swirl and speak to us both, and I'll do the reading for you. Very, very good month for you. Let's have a look at this card. In the centers is jumping up at me for some reason. Before I do that, I'll show you the back of the card. Some people like, I think this is an independent deck, so some people like to see what the back of the cards look like. And that is what they do look like. They're quite interesting. Actually, there's a word there, abrahadabra. Now that comes from that guy Crowley, Aleister Crowley, years ago, who fancied himself as being something of a mystic. Basically, he was a junkie. He was the wretch was addicted to heroin and opium and cocaine. And look, I've read all of his stuff, and basically I find it to be very childish. And when he's being obscure, it's not because there's anything deep behind it, it's just because there's nothing behind it at all. If I may say, here we have obviously the power of Leo coming in here, unmistakable. See, this is speaking this rose of great prosperity and good fortune and forward movement, the achievement, moving forward of your plans here. This is that Hebrew letter Teth, which is the 9th letter of the Hebrew alphabet. Now, I'm not Jewish by faith myself, but in mysticism, of course, you look at all sorts of things. And that letter has the literal meaning of basket or nest, and is the symbol of the good in all of creation. It has to do with purity and impurity, and it teaches you to choose the good and also the realization that even within the bad things that happen, there is a hidden good. Now, this 10th also represents femininity, pregnancy, and it includes kindness and the mercy of creation, and the principle that everything is eternal and nothing is ever lost. Now, from a predictive point of view for you, you will have great passion around. Now, this just means passion, really. It's not the other meaning that you would ordinarily have to it, that word lust. Great passion and a passion for life. There's a multi-dimensional creativity around you, great talent, great endurance and strength, but also the integration of your animalistic energies and overcoming old fears and conditioning. Now, these animal tendencies, which everybody has, this is saying, don't worry, because the animal within you is not tamed and integrated through struggling and repression, but through acceptance and surrender. And the strength that you will gain in this process will help you overcome old fears and restrictive conditioning, which is represented, I think, by this chalice that she's holding up here. She has almost solar rays, the sun being the ruler of Leo, of course, coming from her head, and so she is totally absorbed in the energy of transformation. And this valuable creative potential, only when it is tasted, savoured, and drunk in can it then be understood. The way to light passes through all aspects of darkness. Now, you're definitely not going to be challenged by or punished by a God who has any moral issues about your love life, provided, of course, things are consensual and of proper age. So any guilt and self-inflicted punishment here is wrong in this area. But this does relate to having a passion for a particular situation, perhaps, and engaging with life to the fullest, and being comfortable with your physical needs, accepting your physical needs for what they are, rejoicing in them, but not letting them throw your life off balance. I do think that there is a passionate relationship around here with a great deal of physical and emotional intensity. I can also see you doing something because you love it without overanalyzing it. Now, if you are ready to accept all within you find in yourself, you'll be able to move through everything, and I'm looking at this with, I think, a deep sense of sensitivity, awareness, love, and understanding. Now, you might ask yourself this question: what areas of your life would you like to live out more fully? And what has prevented you from doing so in the past? And are you ready to deal with this anew? But say this to yourself: I enjoy expressing my energy, vitality, and enthusiasm in all that I experience. I am a person of character and strength. I have unlimited creative resources to tap into and express, and I enjoy living life to the utmost. And then let's have a look at what this card has to say here, which is, it's got a few things to say, I think. Not so bad for you, though, because it's got Mars here, and this is Mars in full attack mode. Turmoil is what I'll get to that in a second. But Mars, of course, is exalted in your sign, so you will be dealing with changes that are necessary. Now, this thing over here, that's another one of those Hebrew letters. Now, mystically, well, it's called Pei. It's the 17th letter, and it literally refers to mouth and refers to the power of speech. Now, mystically, speech is actually considered to be a spiritual power, which can cause good or evil depending on how it is used. Now, in a certain way, what you think is how you are, and what you speak has the power to become. Violent words lead to violent actions. The quality of speech is considered to be the quality of the life's essence and creative existence. And I think this, mystically, teaches us to view our words as precious as gold and not to be spilled haphazardly. Yes, Mars in full attack mode here. The great planet of Mars. Look, there's far-reaching inner transformation. There might be some external change going on as well. There is, however, associated with this a great deal of healing. There may be things that you cut down, but there's a lot of healing that's going to come after it. The old is going to be destroyed to make room for the new. There's a self-knowledge here, almost a release, a breaking down of old forms or patterns. Anything that you attempt to cling to will be destroyed by this transforming power. This is, as I say though, the greatest energy that I can feel in this deck for healing. Just as the extraction of a rotten tooth can be painful, the actual thing is that the body is better off for it being extracted. So there is inevitably here some time of turmoil or destruction as you seek to understand how you could have been mistaken about a situation or a person. And you've now got to come to terms with it. And emotions like anger, grief, depression, they may affect you as you probably feel a little bit shaken. You'll feel perhaps as if your comfortable world will never be the same, but it will be better. This may be because of a relationship breakup, loss of a job, death of a loved one, or financial or health problems. But the important message coming through here is that with the destruction of the old comes the new, which will allow you to eventually look at life in a much more meaningful way, and it makes you much wiser and stronger. Whatever is destroyed, anyway, or shaken, will serve to purify you and to make room for something new. So allow this to happen. I mean, it may be, for example, that, there comes a time in your life when you have to choose to turn the page, write another book, or simply just close it. There's also the need to let go here gracefully. Now, letting go. Now, in a breakup, though, if I may say, I don't believe in graceful breakups. I think anger, rage, tears, throwing things, that's all, well, from women anyway, that's part of the drama of life, and it's a good drama. However, even so, sometimes we have to let go of things. And letting go means that you come to the realization that some people or situations are part of your history, but they're not part of your destiny. It happens to everyone as they grow up. You find out who you are and what you want, and then you realize that the people you've known forever don't see things the way that you do. So you keep the wonderful memories, but find yourself moving on. Now, this is also calling for decision. You must make a decision that you are going to move on. It doesn't happen automatically. You'll have to rise up and say, I don't care how hard this is. I don't care how disappointed I am. I'm not going to let this get the best of me. I'm moving on with my life. And also remember that letting go doesn't mean that you don't care about someone anymore. It's just realizing that the only person that you really have control over is yourself. You might find that it is necessary to let things go simply for the reason that they are heavy. So let them go. Let go of them. Don't tie weights to your feet. And when things do change or move or go, well, it's all right to cry. Cry, forgive, learn, move on. Let your tears water the seeds of your future happiness. And I suppose the only other thing that I'll say that's coming up from this is that even though you might want to move forward in your life, you may have one foot on the brakes. In order to be free, you've got to learn how to let go, release the hurt, release the fear, refuse to entertain your old pain. Understand that it's there, but you don't accept it, it's not part of you. The energy that it takes to hang on to the past will hold you back from a new life. So, I wonder, what is it that you would let go of today? But you will always be okay because you are unstoppable. And here, because you have Saturn ruling you, and here is your sister Saturn sign of Aquarius, this time with Mercury in it. Now, Mercury is really good for Aquarius and for you at this time here, because some people say that Mercury is exalted in Aquarius. I'm not so sure about that myself, but I do know this, that the intellectual qualities that are coming to you now are really coming to the fore. And this is suggesting that a somewhat detached but balanced assessment of a situation is probably needed. You need to analyze something without any bias and without, if you can manage it, too much emotion to get the best result. Aquarius is also the sign of new things, so it can refer here to new starts, new and better. Mercury is one of the greatest gifts for Aquarius because Mercury's ability to think about stuff is going to bring you clarity, release, and joy into the future. Now, whether you like it or not, you are going to be understanding things on different levels and from different perspectives. And you might be asking yourself, and this is in particular in relation to this, what are and where are the ruts in your life? But trust your insight and understand this, that just as this rose is saying here that the rose of recognition now blossoms in my heart. Now, also particularly good for you is this. This is the sun in Aries. Look at this. Aries, of course, is ruled by Mars. Look at all the red behind it. As I said, exalted in Capricorn, so fantastic for you. This is bringing you self-confidence and, in particular, again, there's no compromises. You will not be compromising on anything. Now, Aries, of course, enjoys a challenge, and the Aries suns are happiest when their lives are moving forward and active. You'll find that your body, mind, and spirit are in harmony. The other good thing about this is that the brooding, over-analytical considerations of your intellectual mind, producing things like anxiety, they're not going to stand a chance when you are filled with this life energy and vitality which is written all over this card. I think you now have the direction in which to head. Now, it's important for you to also understand your good parts, your virtues, and to trust yourself to make the right decisions in your life, and not to be held back by fear. You conquer fear, so you're not going to be held back by fear. So this is about looking on the inside and the outside with integrity, honesty, and compromise, and no compromises, in order that you get the best results and you move things along and achieve, get results, make some money. Now, if you don't have any clear thoughts in your mind, and your heart and your mind are not together, then don't act. But when they do, then decide and go, because this is now the time to act. Now pay attention always to your own point of stillness, and center yourself and overcome. Now, really, there are no reasons for self-doubt with you now. Do you still doubt yourself? You shouldn't. Say this to yourself: I am important, I matter, I deserve success, and I have the power and virtue to understand and to know. And that takes us finally, I think, to this Knight of Cups, which can be either a male or a female, being in the suit fire and water. Well, fire and water, they don't mix, do they? So this is somebody who is going to be probably somebody that you know, who is effective. Well, I won't call them a mental case, because you're not allowed to say things like that anymore, are you? But they have what I would call issues, and in particular, commitment issues. There's somebody who is kind of good fun to be with. I don't think that this is someone who's likely to be in your life for very long. This person here, the water, their name is written in water basically, and then it's gone. They are someone who I think can be very sensual, but not really all that truthful all the time. There's somebody who, and I'll say this about young men, young men's love for young women. Young men love young women with their eyes and not with their hearts. Sometimes, I mean, your young man may well be the exception to that rule. I'm getting very much around this person what I would call trust issues. Now, trust, once lost, can't be easily found again, not in a year, perhaps not even in a lifetime. And sometimes your dearest friend, to whom you have revealed most of your secrets, becomes so deadly and unfriendly without knowing that they were really supposed to be your friend. And it's also the case, I think, these are just messages that I came up here. I mean, sometimes things just happen. I mean, earthquakes just happen. Tornadoes just happen. But his tongue does not just happen to fall into her mouth. In some respects, I mean, this person is, I think, kind of friendly in a sort of, it's almost as if they can't help themselves. I see if you look at their history, it's usually an unbroken record of failure when it comes to relationships and work environments. They're very charming, and the lesbian and gay audience, please make the necessary adjustment. But this is someone who loves the opposite sex, and the opposite sex loves them. They just have the ability to reel in the fish. But there are some people who will rip out your heart with a steak knife and then say, "Oh, sorry, do you need a bandage?" The other thing is this, I'm thinking that, look, love can sometimes betray, but a friend really just shouldn't ever do that, do you think? But I think that you're going to be looking for people who think the way that you do and get on with things. And you're going to be very successful at doing that. This is someone not to get too caught up in, because they will be a millstone around your neck. Someone whose company you might feel like enjoying for the moment, but once you realize who they are, just treat them like a wild animal. Well, What a fantastic spread of cards for you. Made so much better for you being here. I told you those cards were good, did I not? Aren't they fascinating, the imagery that's on them? I hope you enjoyed that reading as much as I enjoyed providing it to you, because I was delighted by it, I've got to say. Now, unless I see you privately, either for a clairvoyant reading or for a healing, then I'll see you here again next month. Until then, though, remember one thing, and it is this, that you are a legend. And I look forward to seeing you again next time. And until then, it's bye for now.